So there I was, watching today's new Jimothy Cool video to get my daily update on the happenings of McCargo, Horsey, and the rest of the Ding Dang Horse Council. And all of a sudden, I get a notification from YouTube. And it's a notification just like, hey, yo, here's a video that maybe you'd be interested in. And I don't look at it immediately because I'm just like, hey, I'm in the middle of something. I'll get to it when I get to it. I'll fuck with it when I fuck with it. It's probably a notification that I'll be kind of interested in, but not something that I want to drop everything to watch. So I finish the video, and then I check the notification, and I drop everything to watch it. Because Class of 09 3 is coming out. And believe it or not, I'm really excited for that. So I think it's called Class of 09, what was it called, like the Flip Story or something like that? It's the Jekka episode, or it's the Jekka game. Which makes a lot of sense, because if you played the re-up, if you 100%ed it, you get this, like, ARG video at the end, I think that's the right term, and it's, like, some stuff about Jekka, and I remember looking at that and going, I don't really know what the fuck is going on, but I'm assuming the next game, if they do make one, will probably be Jekka focused, and that's exactly what's going on. I don't know if this is Jekka's life before she met Nicole, if it's going to be a lot of the routes from the first two games, but from Jekka's perspective, or if Nicole is going to be there, but it's still going to be like all new material, or kind of some combination of the three. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. They said it comes out this year. There's no date yet, but it can be wishlisted. When I bust out my computer later to start studying, I'm going to wishlist the game first. But, that's how we're starting this Room Talk video. Room Talk Thursday video. It's like I missed a word there. Bye, B. Today is Thursday, July 11th, and there were two things I wanted to talk about that weren't written down, because one of them happened this morning, that's Class of 09, the other happened yesterday after I wrote my notes. So, my mom has been having some health issues, specifically with her blood pressure. She unfortunately has high blood pressure, and she's been trying different medication to be able to get it under control. Yesterday, while I was at work, her blood pressure got really high, and I got a call from my dad saying, hey, Mom, like, you need to go home, make sure she's okay. And she is okay. But the situation was, the doctors gave her some medication to turn her, like, to take her blood pressure down, and apparently they gave her too much. Her blood pressure was really low. So I made sure to stay with her yesterday, check up on her, make sure she was doing okay. There was a point where I went out to go get food. Mom said she wanted a salad, so I got her a salad. I think I said a few weeks ago in a video that I was really craving Pizza Hut wings, and Pizza Hut's now open, so I got some wings and I got some breadsticks. So, I offer Mom a breadstick at one point. She's like, you know what, thanks, I appreciate it. And she eats it. I see her about 5 minutes later, and she just says to me, that is the saltiest thing I've ever eaten. It was nothing but salt. It was so salty, so nothing but salt, that my blood pressure has now stabilized because eating just that one breadstick was enough to skyrocket it. You should not be eating that shit. And I don't know, it was a situation that, like, I wouldn't say was exactly morbid, but it was like, okay, like, this is something I really need to monitor, and, like, okay, that had a pretty genuinely funny ending. So I thought I would share that. But, some of the other things to talk about and share. In terms of writing, I did finish the next Orichalcum chapter. I finished that last night. There's maybe a couple points that could maybe be touched up a little bit, but I think overall, it's what I want from it in terms of, like, the characters, the plot shit, some of the world building. So I might do a few touch-ups on that last part. I might just go ahead and move on for now and then maybe do some touch-ups later. I'll probably start the next chapter in a couple days. So I think it was last week I talked about a situation with the bar exam. and how because of some things getting delayed, I had to get another thing like signed, notarized, and sent. And if that thing didn't get sent and delivered on time, I wouldn't be able to take the bar. And I was like really nervous and really anxious, really mad about it. No problems. They got it. I called them, excuse me, I believe I called them on Monday, and they're like, yeah, we got it. It's in the file. All right, so I'm good to take it. Yeah, you're good to take it. Cool. In terms of studying, it's still going. It was last week. It was either Wednesday or Thursday, maybe even Friday. I don't, somewhere around that part of the week, I was saying, okay, let me look at the calendar so I can really get a game plan. There's 3 weeks left. This current week, next week, the week after. 3 full weeks to study, and then the next week is the bar. So, my game plan has been last weekend and this week, just finish the main lectures. I want to make sure I get every topic down. Right now, I've got 2 left. I've got about half of agency and all of conflict of laws. I've seen the lecture, not like every single lecture, like some of the follow-up lectures, but when it comes to like, here's the main lecture topic about this thing, I've watched all of those. Again, aside from those 2 topics. Next week, I just want to do a bunch of application shit. Multiple choice, MPT practice, essay practice. And yes, like, I've done a lot of that stuff as I've been going, but not this week. This week, it's like, I just want to do lectures. This is what I need to do now. Next week, let's do a lot of the application shit. The final week, I guess the penultimate week, because the final week would be the bar itself, is identify my weaknesses. Now that I've been practicing, now that I've been doing essays, now that I've been doing a lot more multiple choice, what are the overall subjects that I feel like I struggle with and really hone in on those? And in the subjects that I feel like I'm strong at, what are the areas that I feel like this is one where I'm not as good at, and make sure I can hone in on those. Like, really study those parts of the outline, see if I can curate MBE questions to specifically focus on those elements, etc., etc. I do have a game plan. We'll see if it works. There's a non-zero chance that it won't, but there's a non-zero chance that it will. And that's what I'm banking on. So that, again, that's the very end of July, 30th and the 31st. And then August, I get my life back. And I can watch things. I can play games. I could start reading that Twilight book. I'm really excited to read the Twilight book. I'm going to put a pin. It's not Twilight related, but it is reading related. So, in terms of Worm, I am now caught up in terms, like, my Worm videos are now caught up to where I'm at. I have read 24, I've done work 24. I'm trying to say Worm and Arc at the same time. But I have started 25. I'm not super far into it. I'm on chapter 3. I'm about an hour and a half in. I think it's 5.5 total. So if I listen to an hour a day the rest of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'll be Gucci. So hopefully that'll happen. Ruby is back. That makes me really happy. They said at, I think it was Anime Expo. I believe that was July 5th, because I remember, like, the Ruby Twitter account was, like, soon, and I was really excited for it. And I remember seeing a tweet saying to probably expect something on either July 5th or it was, like, July 20th. I don't remember what the exact dates were, but the funny part of it was, I think it was July 5th is when it was either the first episode or the Red trailer. I think it's when the actual first episode aired. And then the second date is, like, this is when the first episode was made, like, public for everybody. And so, coincidentally enough, it was on July 5th, the anniversary of the first episode, like, coming out, is, yes, we have a new home. They're with Viz, like, we've got a new home. We are going to be able to go. And that makes me really excited, because believe it or not, even with my problems that I have, as much as I shat on Volume 4, Volume 6, and pretty much everyone except Ironwood in Volume 7. And even then, by the end, I'm like, what the fuck, Ironwood? I really had a good time with RWBY. I like the fights. There's definitely a notable change in choreography once you get to about Volume 4, but I still like the fights. I really like a lot of the weapons. The lore for me is sometimes kind of hit or miss. Like, there's elements I really like, and then there's elements where, like, Weiss is saying, it's like, but that's not magic. Or, like, magic's not real. If I was wearing my glasses, that would have worked a lot better. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? How the fuck is dust not magic? I'm sorry. I'm like, that... To me, dust is magic. Semblances are magic. What the fuck are you talking about? Sorry. I was like, what's the next thing I want to say about RWBY? The music's great. The music absolutely fucking slaps. Both the instrumental tracks and the vocal tracks. And Volume 9, to me personally, was really... It felt really important to me. And as much crap as I said, as I give a lot of the volumes, as many problems as I think it has, I like it a lot overall. And Volume 9 alone earns it a lot of points from me. Now that RWBY is going to be part of Viz, I don't know what that means for RWBY and Multiverse. I haven't been playing the game lately, and part of that is like, look, I mean, I'm studying, I haven't really been playing shit anyways. Like, every now and then I'll play a little bit of Smash with Clay, and even then we've only done like a couple times. Oh, like, sorry, I just thought of Dylan. Dylan, I know you're probably watching this. You probably heard me say play Smash with Clay, and you probably just went, smashing Clay? I know you, Dylan. Anyways, I haven't been playing a lot of games, so I haven't been playing Multiverses, but also, when I was playing, I thought, game's not that great, but I want it to do well, and I want to be able to play it, because some of the characters that are coming are really exciting to me. Like, I want to play as Powerpuff Girls. I was a big Powerpuff Girls fan growing up. It was it's probably my favorite Cartoon Network show. Either that or Courage. It's been a long time since Clay and I have seen Adventure Time, man. Like, I really liked it, and maybe by the time I'm done, it'll be Adventure Time. But I feel like it could make a good faith argument. The Powerpuff Girls was my show. I would love to be able to play as Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup. RWBY's the other character I probably want the most. Or arguably the Warners. So, the fact that she's apparently was supposed to be on her way, and it sounds like even with the Rooster Teeth Warner Bros. Fiasco, she was possibly still on the way. But now that they got another home, I don't know if they're completely owned by Viz. I really don't know all the specifics. So I don't know if this is, yeah, she's still, it's fine, or if she'd be more of a third-party character, which from what I understand, that's what Jason is anyways, so there's already precedent in the game for it happening. It's just a weird circumstance. But if she shows up, I'm gonna play her, because I like watching RWBY, I was like, fuck, she would be so fun in this game. Like, with the way RWBY is all about movement and momentum, that feels so perfect for a platform fighter. So, hopefully, she can still get in the game. Let's see. Studying, still taking the bar, Rubby. Oh, right, speaking of shit getting announced, Shrek 5 is, I mean, it's something that's been talked about for quite a while. I think we got an announcement not too long ago from Eddie Murphy saying, like, I've finished recording my lines, or I'm right about to finish recording, something like that. I am excited because Shrek is a phenomenal film. Shrek 2 is probably one of my favorite animated movies. I think Shrek 3 is underrated. Like, when Clay and I watched all the DreamWorks movies, I thought Shrek 3 was going to be dog shit. I thought it was going to be one of those awful movies we'd watch. And, like, actually, I kind of liked it. It's not as good as the first two, but it's still pretty fun. It's still pretty funny. And Shrek Forever After is fine. I don't like the setup, but I like kind of the whole Wonderful Life thing. I think is fine, but I just even Shrek like super stressed and angry and stuff. Like, no, I don't feel like he would make this decision. But he's drunk, yeah. Even while drunk, Shrek could tell that he was being played, and then he still went along with it. It almost felt like the writers kind of went, Shrek isn't this stupid. He would figure this out. Yeah, but we got to make our movie. That bothers me. But Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, though, is so fucking good and so phenomenal. It made me want more of this world, and this world is Shrek's. And it even ends with them going back to Far, Far Away, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, there's two things I want from this movie. I guess three, with the third, the obvious thing being I want it to be good and really funny. But the two things I really want to see. Number one, this might be controversial. This might be a super hot take, but it's mine. I want the art style from The Last Wish. Yes, the Shrek art style is, like, it's very iconic, don't get me wrong. Like, I see that shit, I know I'm looking at Shrek, or I guess I know I'm looking at an old DreamWorks movie. But I love the Puss in Boots 2 art style so much. I would really like to, and granted, I might say that and then see how Shrek and Fiona and Donkey look in the art style and go, okay. Maybe it doesn't look as good, but with how much I just love the visuals in that movie, I would like to see it. The other thing is, I think I talked about this after I watched The Last Wish. I was like, here's something I would want in Shrek 5. Red Riding Hood. She is in a Shrek movie. She is in Shrek the Third, when you've got all the villains hanging out in the bar and fucking up and like fucking around and Far, Far Away. She is one of them. She's kind of more of like a funny background event than an actual character, though. And, I mean, to be fair, Rumpelstiltskin was also there in Shrek the Third, and then in Shrek Forever After, he's there as a completely different character. So there's already precedent in universe for it. And arguably, there's also that with a big bad wolf, because you've got the big bad wolf who just goes, what? And, you know, death from The Last Wish. So even in universe, they've kind of reinvented already established characters. But one I would really like to see is Little Red Riding Hood, because when I think of fairy tales, that's one of the first I think of. She's arguably the most iconic fairy tale character, aside from the wolf himself. And it was just kind of something I thought about. I was like, yeah, we haven't, even if she was like kind of there in Shrek the Third, we haven't really gotten like a Red Riding Hood story. And I would expect her, if it's a Shrek movie, to be a major antagonist. And I don't know, between like Ruby, Hoodwinked, Darkstalkers, you can do some fun shit with Red Riding Hood kicking ass. So it's something I'm really looking forward to. I hope it happens. If it doesn't, I don't think I'm going to be like, man, this movie's dog shit. I mean, if the movie's dog shit, it's dog shit. But that's not the make or break. But I would like that a lot. Let's see. Oh yeah, Godzilla updates. Like with Worm, I'm caught up on Godzilla. Hedorah and Gigan were the last two movies I have seen. I've done the videos on both of those. We are 12 movies in of 38 total, so Clay and I have almost seen about a third. And including movies that I have seen but not as explicitly part of the marathon, that's 4 MonsterVerse movies, 98, Shin, Final Wars. I know I've seen GMK, so that's 8. So I personally in total have seen 20, which, I mean, at what point is half? I think 18? No, sorry, 19 is half. So I've seen about, that's actually wild to think, I've seen about half the Godzilla movies. And then, again, we've seen close to, with slightly less than a third. And then after we watch Megalon, and I'm not sure but when we'll do that. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, next week, I don't know. At that point, we will have seen a third. Overall, I've been having a really good time. Not every movie's a winner. All Monsters Attack. Raids again. But for the most part, I've enjoyed them a lot. The original Gogeta is phenomenal. I think Hedorah is a genuine contender for being the best one. I liked Mothra quite a bit. Three-headed monster and Astro Monster absolutely kick ass. I almost said Final Wars. Destroy all monsters is really, I mean, Final Wars was good too, from what I remember. I even like Son of Godzilla. Like, I don't think it's amazing. I would put it probably lower on the totem pole, but I liked it just fine. And I feel like, I remember something my friend said to me when he watched all the Godzilla movies. He's like, look, you're going to get a lot more bad than you're going to get good, and you're going to get a lot of mid in there too. But there are very few, I feel like he said there's very few Godzilla movies he regretted watching, because almost all of them, and I think for him, All Monsters Attack was like the exception, but almost every movie has something worthwhile in it, or just has something like really fun or really memorable that is bad or mid as it is overall, made it really worth watching. Like King Kong. Okay, so I think the dog's gonna come in, so I'll keep talking. Like King Kong versus Godzilla. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. I don't think it's that good. But it has those last 15 minutes with Kong and Godzilla fighting. And honestly, that might... Okay, no, I don't think I'd say that. I was going to say, like, it might be my favorite fight of the Showa era. I'm like, no, it's probably Godzilla and Hedorah. But that's a genuine contender for being my favorite fight in the Showa era. It's so fun. The show, like, them fighting on Mount Fuji, Godzilla, like, kicking rocks on him, the tree down the neck. It was gold. I've been having a lot of fun with these. I'm looking forward to... Oh, that was upside down. I'm looking forward to continuing them. We'll get to that one. That's the pin. Okay, couple other things before we get to the pin. Is I got an email from YouTube a couple days ago that one of my videos had a copyright claim. And I was really confused. I'm like, well, for what? I mean, I don't use clips or audio. Just kind of sit in a chair, or sit on my bed, or sit in a car and talk about shit. What the hell? The video was one of the Friendship is Magic shorts. It was for, I believe, Non-Compete Clause, which is it's a school episode. Is that season 8 or 9? I'm gonna say that's season 8. I don't know what I'm gonna guess like season 8, episode 8. I don't know if that's accurate, but I feel like it's somewhere around there in like the early mid part of season 8. But anyways, it's that really dog shit episode where Rainbow Dash and Applejack are they're competing to be employee of the month, or like teacher of the month, whatever they actually called it, and then are being really fucking terrible teachers and end up getting their students like genuinely in danger. Awful episode. Absolutely hated it. And yeah, for some reason that was copyright claimed, and there's a photo in the background that I don't... It's weird to say I don't recognize it. I think this is when I was watching that Thunder Mavericks game. I think this is when... Did OKC win this one, or was this the one where they lost by 1 and got eliminated? I don't remember. But I was watching one of the OKC Mavericks games, and I was in a different room in the house. I think it's like a photo or like a painting that's in that room. So I just blurted out, because I guess that's what the copyright was. Because I had the TV, when I'm recording, like I had the TV on mute, so I don't think it was any sound from the TV. The TV's here and I'm here, so you can't see what's on the screen. And there's nothing copyright in the title. It's a non-compete clause. I mean, you can't copyright words and phrases. Trademark, maybe, but I don't think you can trademark that. My Little Pony is a hashtag. I guess there's maybe that, but most of them have that. So I don't know what the fuck happened. It's like, that's weird and silly, but I think I addressed it, so we'll see what happens. It's the Fate Go 7-year anniversary. I mean, in Japan it's like 9. I don't know if we've seen the Japanese anniversary servant. Yeah, I'll probably check that here in a second. But in America, we're on the 7th anniversary, and I'm not 100% how to pronounce her name. I've heard it pronounced as Arcade. I don't know if that's accurate, but the protagonist, I guess, I think Shiki's technically the protagonist, but one of the main, like, what's the word I wanted there? I almost said, like, flagship, but that's not quite right. But I would say, I think the main heroine of Tsukihime, she is now a servant in Fate, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter saying, it's like, dude, it took so many quartz to get her, or like I had so many quartz and I still didn't get her. I'm like, it took me like 60. It was like 210 rolls. I mean, like I blew through summon tickets first. I had a good amount of those, but I was like, it wasn't that hard for me to get her. Still luck of the draw. I think her actual animation when she gets summoned, with like the portal and then the like Moon Cancer logo changing, I think was really fucking neat. And I look at this as karma, and I'm like, look, I spent a lot of quartz last year at Kyonsaka, and I didn't get her. I'm okay with getting Arcade pretty quick. I haven't done any of the guaranteed rolls yet. It's something I always do with Billy, like I'll give him a call. So I'm waiting till tomorrow, because I get paid tomorrow. So I'm going to get paid tomorrow, get my quartz, wake up with Billy, I'm like, alright, here we go. So there's a Destiny summon, and then the class-specific summons. I'm assuming you can do both. You can do the Destiny, and then you can do the class-specific, but you can only do one kind of class-specific. The Destiny is, you can pick a servant from every class and roll. And you are guaranteed one of them. Maybe you'll get lucky and get a couple, but you'll get one for sure. And then the class is just like, alright, in like Saber 1, here's the available Sabers. In like Lancer 4, I don't think it goes that high, but you know what I mean? Like, here's the available Lancers and such. So, who would I roll for? Like, Kyonsaka for sure, because I got the other Kyonsaka, the foreigner one. I believe she's a foreigner. I think she was the New Year's servant this year. I got her. I don't have the assassin one. So, assassin, I would get Kyonsaka. Berserker? I don't know who I would roll for Berserker. Off the top of my head. Actually, I really don't know for most of the classes. I'm like, Saber, well, my favorite Saber is Musashi, and I've got her. Caster, it's Tamamo. Lancer, it's Tamamo. It's like, I got her both times. I don't know. I know for Avenger, I would probably... Actually, Avenger's got some really cool ones. Like, I don't have, Dante. Sorry, I could not remember his name. It was like the Count of Monte Cristo. I would like to roll Dante's, but I think there's a couple other Avengers that are really cool. I've got Jalter, and I fucking love Jalter. I don't have a 5-star writer. As long as I've been playing Fate Go, as long as I've been rolling, I've never gotten a 5-star writer, so I know I'm going to put Iskandar in there. So, yeah, so we'll see who I put in the Destiny summon. I don't know if it's you have to fill it out. Like, I'll probably look and be like, okay, you're really cool, you're really cool. I think Shiro is a Saber, as, fuck, I can't remember his name. It's the swordsmith. Oh, this is bothering me. I feel like this, is it Muramasa? It's Muramasa or Murasame. I don't remember which. I think it's Senji Muramasa, I believe. That's Shiro. I remember he was a New Year's servant, and I specifically did not care to roll for him because I was just not a fan of Shiro Emiya from watching the Dean anime of the Fate Route and the UBW anime. And then I read the VN and I was like, wait, Shiro's my favorite character of the story. Oh no, I fucked up. I'll probably throw Shiro on there because, yeah, dude's cool as fuck. I think I've seen his Noble Phantasm too, and it was sick as hell. Anyways, that's that for Fate Go. That was the weird YouTube thing. This weekend, I know there's a con here in Tulsa. It used to be called Tokyo in Tulsa. I don't know what it's called now. It's called something slightly different. Clay is off this weekend, so I think we're gonna go probably... Oh, excuse me, fuck. We're expecting to go on Saturday. I don't think we're going to be there super long. I kind of want to do what I did last year with Jose, which is just go in, look at some of the art, look at some of the... Basically just, like, hit the vendors. I remember last year, I had a list. I was like, all right, can I find something from this, something from this, something from this? Nope. There's a lot of Demon Slayer, there's a lot of Jujutsu Kaisen, a lot of One Piece, a lot of Naruto. I'm here looking for Umineko. I want to see if I can find a cool Skullgirls print. I don't see that shit anywhere. So I'll probably have another list. I imagine Ruby is going to be on the list. Like, I'd like a good Ruby print. I still would like a good Skullgirls print. I saw a couple online. I saw one online the other day that I really liked. But I think it was just like an image, and I couldn't actually find like a way to buy it as a print. I was like, fuck, this is really cool. But, I'm looking forward to that. Even if I don't find anything or don't find a lot of cool stuff, it'll just be fun to, like, hang out with Clay. And, hey, if anyone else wants to come, that'd be neat, too. So let me take the pen out. I have made a decision. I have made an executive decision from Article 2, baby. Yeah, Article 1 is the legislature. Article 3 is the judicial system. So Article 2 is the executive branch. Sorry, did con law over the weekend. Like, wait, like I made a law joke, and then I had to fact check. It's like, was my law joke accurate? Yes, I have been studying. But my executive decision about what I'm going to read after Worm as an audiobook. So like I said, I really want to read that fucking Twilight. The gender swap Twilight book. Because that sounds hilarious. But decided the next audiobook. It's not going to be Ward. I intend on reading Ward. And there's a non-zero chance that I'll veto my own executive decision and be like, look, after I finish Worm, I need to read Ward right the fuck now. I can see that happen. However, I think after I read Worm, I'm going to want to take a Parahumans break, because as much as I love it, and I really do, shit is pretty fucking long. And it would be kind of nice to like take a break, and then either near the end of the year, so I think I started Worm in December of last year, maybe November, but I think it was December. So I probably won't get finished with my second project by December. But theoretically, if I were to, maybe around like December or sometime in 2025, read Ward. I think that sounds kind of neat. What I will be reading instead is Project Horizons. There is a non-zero chance that you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. However, it is something I've referenced a few times on the channel. I have worn the Blackjack is Best Pony shirt a couple times. Notably for me, because it was on purpose, I wore it when I was doing my Kuro 2 video, all 4 fucking hours of it. I think I mentioned a time or two while making Friendship is Magic videos and going through the seasons that I was really interested in rereading Fallout Equestria and then following it up with Project Horizons. Project Horizons is a piece of recursive fanfiction, which means it's a piece of fanfiction based on another piece of fanfiction. That original piece of fanfiction being Fallout Equestria, based of course on the Fallout game series, particularly Fallout 3. I know there are some elements from other games like Fallout 1 with the Master and the Goddess, but my understanding is it's a lot more Fallout 3 focused, and Friendship is Magic, specifically Season 1, because I believe it was written either near the end of Season 1 or like during the hiatus between Season 1 and Season 2. I think there's a tiny bit of Season 2 that gets referenced, like by the time the story was wrapping up, but it's basically an adaptation of like Season 1 and Fallout 3. And I love it. I really love the story. I have a physical copy of it on my shelf. And rewatching the show, I was like, I want to reread this. Not because it's not like one of those where I'm like, I'm doubting how good this is and like I want to reevaluate it. It's just like, I really liked it. it's been like a decade. I want to read this again. If I'm doing that, I gotta read the other one. But I'm not gonna do that. There's a couple of reasons why I don't want to read Fallout Equestria first. Reason number one. It was when I was reading Arc 22 of Worm and really thinking about it. As I talked about in that video, what I loved about that arc is it shows the best and worst of Taylor's character. And what's so interesting to me is even when I see Taylor at her worst, like her most hypocritical, her most stubborn, her most annoying, I find her super interesting. It is those flaws and those inconsistencies and that hypocrisy that instead of making me dislike her, I like her character more. She can still, like, infuriate me with her decisions, but, like, as an outside observer watching the story, like, this is so interesting. And I was thinking, I was like, why do those moments with Taylor make me like the character more? But when I was reading Horizons, those moments with Blackjack infuriated me. Is it because of those actual differences? Is it how they affect the story? Or is it just me growing? And, like, at the time, I was like, yeah, like, you know, this character acts out of character. It's like, that's not something she should do. This is stupid and this is bad, when actually it makes sense and it makes her a more well-rounded person. Or is it, no, I think in the context, it was just dumb and just bad. I'm not sure. But it really got me thinking. I was like, fuck. Maybe I do really need to reread this. The other part of me saying I don't want to read the original. So that's kind of it. It's like with the original, it's like I want to. With Horizons, it's I think I need to reevaluate this. The other reason is, for better or for worse, and for me, at least in my initial reading, it was definitely for worse. Project Horizons plays very fast and loose with the lore of the original story. It's like, hey, this is how things were set up. And then Horizons going, yeah, I know he was never referenced in the original story, but I have an OC, and... Sorry, that said 37 minutes. I thought it said 47. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. It's like, hey, I know he wasn't referenced in the original story because he was actually not needed for anything that happened. But I have this original character who had his hooves in everything, and actually none of that would have happened without him. There's a lot of that in Project Horizons. And I remember a lot of elements of Blackjack's story and some elements of her character being very similar to Little Pip. Definitely not one for one. Blackjack, for better and for worse, is her own character. But there's a lot of things. Like, there's one thing that really sticks out in my head. It's near the end of book 1. I don't remember the names of them, because I remember there's 5 of them. And I think each volume of Project Horizons, like, had its own name. I do not remember the names. I remember names of a lot of individual chapters, though. But this is near the end of part 1, like, I don't know, like chapter 14, 15, somewhere around there, where Blackjack just starts getting, like, has a drug addiction, and not including her regular alcoholism and sex addictions. But she's just like, cool, I'm on this drug, like Med-X, Hydra, I don't remember the others. It was a fuck ton. I don't remember if it was also Party Time Mentals. That one, is it Mentals or Mentats? I don't remember. The Party Time drug. And I remember reading it and thinking to myself, this was a major part of Little Pip's character, is she wasn't sure she was good enough for a situation, and this friend of hers that she had was like, hey, I got something that can help. Here's a drug. You know, it's a good performance enhancer. It's a stat boost. Use it and you might do good shit. And Little Pip did, and it was amazing. And she started relying on it, and it actively started fucking up her relationships and how she thought. And her getting over her drug addiction, and her friends, like, staging an intervention for her, is genuinely one of my favorite parts of the story. And in Horizons, it didn't really feel like an integral part of Blackjack's character. Again, like her sex addiction and her love of alcohol, that is 100% Blackjack. But this part just felt like, hey, Little Pip was addicted to one drug and had a whole arc dedicated to it. What if Blackjack was addicted to several drugs and her whole arc was like 2 chapters and then she's good? Doesn't that make Blackjack a better character? Because she had more problems and got through them faster. That's how it felt reading it. I am not going to say that is necessarily the intent. That was how I felt reading it. And there's also those moments throughout the story where a character will say to Blackjack, like, man, I thought Little Pip had it rough, but listening to you, man, her story was smooth sailing. Like, dude, why are you doing this? Like, why are you trying to compare? I know there are people who think Horizons is way better. Personally, I am not one of them. Maybe after rereading it and trying to be more, I guess, unbiased, however I can, maybe I will. It's like, dude, I just want your story to stand on its own legs. I guess hooves. Like your own 2 feet or your own 4 hooves. Like, don't do this, because every time you do, as someone who really likes that original story, you keep comparing yourself to and almost trying to make it sound like I'm the better one. You're just undermining yourself. And it's not like Horizons is perfect when it is standing on its own merits. I have my problems with it. I have several. But there's also a lot of shit that I fucking love. I really... And it's mostly character shit. I like most of the main cast a lot. I love the antagonists. I love all the different gangs around Huffington. I like the projects a lot. I think Golden Blood's involvement in all the post... Or, excuse me, not the post, where the pre-war stuff is a bit much. Because, like I said, I mean, it's like, look, dude, all this shit was here before your character was written. Why is he involved in everything? But when it comes just him in the projects, I think that's really cool. Like, I really like the idea of the OIA. I'm gonna cut myself off here because I can talk for a really... You can ask Clay. I can talk for a very, very long time about Project Horizons. The good, the bad, and everything in between. And because of that, I'm like, I really want to reread it. Are the good parts as good as I remember them being? Are the bad parts as terrible as I remember them being? Are there more is there more bad than there is good? Was I too hard on it? I don't know. And even though Horizons likes to compare itself to the original story and play very fast and loose with the original story, I think the most fair way for me to evaluate it is let me not reread the original story yet. Let me just reread this one. And so as much as I can, evaluate it on its own merits. I've seen a couple audiobooks. I haven't listened to any of them yet. We'll see how they are. I don't know if they're like Worm, where it's a different person every chapter. If it's... Well, I mean, Worm is a different person every arc. Horizons is 80 chapters, and looking at the audiobooks, like, okay, it's about 2.5 hours per chapter. Yikes. So it's almost like every 2 Horizons chapters is an arc of Worm. Which, if that's the case, by that average, if 2 chapters is an arc, 8 divided by 2, so it'd be about like 40 arcs. Horizons is fucking long, man. But, with that all being said, I am very excited to start it. I won't lie, there were a couple times this week where I just almost did. I'm like, I can't, because I know if I start it, I'm not going to finish Worm. And Worm does not deserve that, because Worm is fucking great. And I really like it, and I genuinely want to finish it. I will get to Blackjack when I get to Blackjack. And like with Worm, well, again, since Worm is a video at the end of every arc, Project Horizons will be one at the end of every chapter. And obviously, I am not going into it blind. So there are going to be full spoilers, and I'll talk about this more when like I actually start recording Horizons videos. Like, it'll be full spoilers for the entire story and for the original story as well. They're gonna be long videos. Like I said, I can talk for a very, very long time about Project Horizons. I'm That's why I'm so excited. I think I've said it before that I've been wanting to make videos for. Bless you, Princess. Bless you twice, Princess. You got a third one? I don't know if you could hear the dog sneezing, but she was sneezing. Um, I've been wanting to make videos for a long time and just like sit down in a chair, on a couch, in a car, wherever, and say like, this is what I think about this, and generally keeping it to media consumption because I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to say I don't give a shit. It's important, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about football. I want to talk about trails. I want to talk about Pokemon. All that kind of shit. And share my opinions. Is it because my opinions are great? If you've seen my videos, you know some of my takes are total dog shit. But they're mine. That's all they can be. And I have a lot of fun with that. And it's like, fuck, I wish I was making videos when I was reading Project Horizons because I would have had so much to say. And now, even like a decade later, I still have a lot to say. And so being able to like reread it, refresh a lot of my memories, but also with the sense of now that I know where the story is going and everything that's going to happen, there is, I guess in a sense, it's like a more informed reading. I'm very, very excited to be able to reevaluate it and even more excited to talk about it.